about that time, just about 5 minutes past the good old hour of 6 o'clock. Today being the 28th, yes, 28th day of October 2023. And that is where we're about to delve into, as it were, another very interesting conversation, a very interesting 2 hour with us as Dominicans, as persons in the region, or even persons further afield. Because the number of calls, the number of text messages, WhatsApp messages I get within the course of the week from all over the globe, telling me, bro, keep up the good work, and even making suggestions as well of topics to be discussed, then I know for sure that program is resonating. And that is why even today, I'm sort of on the tired side. I worked for the entire day today. After that work, I had a meeting after that, but I had to make time for you guys because I always treasure, that is, the times that we spend here each and every Saturday. So if it is for my body alone based on feelings, then I would not be here. But it is the level of commitment that I take pride in, talking to you guys, not talking anything, talking about just how we can make our country, Dominica, how we can make the region and even the world by extension a much better place for us to live, all right? And so it is that level of commitment that brought me here tonight, I can tell you that. But it is what it is, and we have to move on. Life goes on. The number of you here tuned in, I want to say my heart goes out to you. Special good evening, no matter where you are. 100 plus persons already here. We have, let me just run through that list very quickly because we have a number of info to pass on to you tonight. So we have, let me just see if I can get that list from the top people. Let me just see if I can get that list from the top, okay? Because I am always sometimes at the end of these programs, persons normally text and say, Loft, you didn't call my name, man. I was listening, I was watching. So let me see if I can get to the top of that list whilst I make my way down, all right? And again, folks, if I did not mention your name, it's not that I didn't want to, but then, you know, sometimes things happen. Ian St. Marie, good evening to you. Alison John Baptist, Bertil Birmingham, Veronica Pascal, Marina Charles, Mali Austri, Judy Berry. Yes, let me see if I get to that. Seabreeze, yes, someone by the name of Seabreeze. Bopes, is that Carol Olivaci Bruni? You are listening as well. Let me see if I could take that list on my device in front of me here because the one I have here is not logging in quick enough. We also have Lauren Lestrade, Juanita Prince, Celia King, Vincent Warrington, Julie Polidor, saying that you guys are locked in. Augustina John, Lauren Lestrade, Swinder Martine, Jacqueline Joanna James, Ian Telemac, Nixon Pierre, you're also there. Good evening to you as well, Nixon. Chiquito Thomas, Elaine Peter, Merlin Wilshire, Euphali Vidal, Kingdom Citizen, Marceline Edwards, Dave Bertrand, Ivenia Joseph, saying good evening and important information as well. Magali John Jules, good evening to you. I called Merlin already. La Roque, yes, La Roque Martin Carril, good evening to you. Cyrilia Celestine, good evening. Jonella Defoe, Celestine, yes, Celestine Lorraine, Everlasting Peter, Rosa Robinson, Alex Teat, Danny Bertrand, yes, Roxas Benoit, JB, Mahalia, Joseph, you're there as well. Good evening to all of you folks. We also have Glosslyn, yes, Glosslyn Hill, Lincoln Augustine, Bad Mind Gyal Francis, good evening to you. Brother Jefferson Winston, just tuning in at this time. Patricia Zamo, you are also there as well. Curlin Sanders. Carla Guy says she will not be here with us tonight. She's due to work. June Charles, you are also there as well in the listening and viewing audience. Bad Mind Gal Francis saying, keep the fire burning until the rogues are consumed. Well, thank you very much, Bad Mind Gal Francis, for your comments here as we are moving along. All right, folks. I know a number of you there. James Cam, good evening to you. Brother Truns, yes. This brother was on fire this week. My brother, we have to link up sometime. That is Brother Truns. Deb Prince basically spitting some fire in the end of his wood this week earlier. I tuned in and he made a lot of sense. And so it's people like that to help us understand where we are in this country and understand the world by extension. Vincent Warrington, Patricia Fontaine, you're also there. I'm just waiting for some names to show up on the screen. Yusika Isles, Jacqueline Joanna James, I think I mentioned that name already. Yes, but folks, Santia Tia, good evening to you. And so the number of you here, it's already 4:15, folks, and so we have to hurry on. Janice Jacques just tuning in. Lucinda McDowell Folk, Ronald Too Long as well. Good evening as well, folks. Yes, let us cut it here in terms of the names calling. The name calling rather, and let us get to the then down to business here tonight. Tora Brady, Tora is always there. All right, Joan Talbot and you and the crew. Folks, it is still raining in Dominica in terms of just giving us an update as to where we are at in Dominican weather. Ina Scotland, Janice Felix, Alison John Baptist. But yeah, I have to stop it there tonight. All right. In terms of weather, folks, it is still raining. It's not raining as hard, but we get some real showers sometime, I can tell you that. A matter of fact, this afternoon I was from Point Michelle area, and when I passed the junction, Grand Bay, Point Michelle, Loubier Junction, right there is this bridge, and I could see evidently that it was raining in the heights because the river, they were sort of, gushing down, and the water was chocolate brown. And so persons living in that area, you guys will well remember this sort of destruction that happened to you guys in that general area in Loubier, to be precise, in that junction right there. Really passage of tropical storm Erica. Yes, Erica. Yes, Erica. We had Hurricane Maria, Tropical Storm Erica. We had Irma before that. Is Erica. Erica in 2015 did some tremendous damage in that area and obviously around the length and breadth of Dominica. And so, folks, those of you who live close to waterways, ravines, well, those ravines normally turn to rivers, around those times. So you guys have to be very, very careful still. The ground in Dominica have been getting serious water of late. And so those of you who are traversing from one point to the other, be it on foot or on vehicles, you are asked to exercise extreme caution. If you don't have to go somewhere, then don't go. Some persons like they just crank up and go. If it's not a need, people, please, you can stay put. All right, that may just save your life in the process. Well, we are in the heat now, direct heat of the 3 nights of what they say pulsating rhythms in Dominica. Last night started with a lot of water as well. Tonight is carried to be another night of water. I don't know what tomorrow holds so far, but there's just like Calypso goes with controversy, then our our 3 nights of rhythm, pulsating rhythms, that is, always comes with water. And so I've been speaking to some persons, and there's this suggestion out there by some Dominicans, that is, in the interest of Dominicans, maybe a date change could come around, because always sometime around October for the Creole Festival we get those torrential waters. So the powers that be, maybe that may be a step in the right direction. Some persons are thinking of July month end, maybe even June month end, about there, just as the opening of the hurricane season. Those whatever that is formed in Africa down there coming up, they are not really they are not really formed as yet when the hurricane season just opens. So you know, maybe June month end, July month end, thereabout, maybe even mid-August, then maybe we'll be spared some unnecessary water. All right, but these are just suggestions coming from humble Dominicans. All right, Dominicans, the information tonight, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, 5 bits of information tonight that I really want to punch on you guys, and let's try to make sense of it, and we will bring the program down at 8 o'clock tonight. 20 past already, so we have to get going. First up on the agenda, Dominicans, I can tell you from the grapevine that there's a case pending against the government of Dominica, and that is coming from the police. So the police, based on what I've been told from very, very reliable sources, there is now lawyers looking at a case whereby money is owed to the police department in Dominica. So most likely the Welfare Association would want to be part and parcel of that case, or they are part and parcel of that case, I'm being told, in terms of looking at the interests and welfare of their officers. That case is still in the early stages. The evidence and whatever needs to be collected to present to the court for payment to the officers. And these payments, I'm being told, were payments made from outside organizations, especially during the passage of Hurricane Maria to the police department in Dominica for their extra work, and as well promises made from the government of the day to the policemen and women in Dominica, and these promises have not been kept. And so if those are not settled pretty quickly, then we may just be hearing about a case in the court, and let the court decide as to the type of compensation that will be doled out to, let me qualify, the hardworking policemen and women in Dominica. All right. So that is one bit of information that you guys can rest assured that is the situation as we speak. Dominicans, second on the agenda, the state of healthcare in this country. Again, it is a very, very, very lamentable one. I'm being told from very reliable sources, a young lady, I will keep her name anonymous for now because I don't think it makes news as yet. She passed at the PMH sometimes, when was it, yesterday, this morning early. The reason or reasons for passing, that is still under investigation, but it is a fact that that young lady, as I said, I will leave her name out of the picture for now, photos out of the picture for now, but she passed, and she passed in a very sad way. And what I've been picking up from people in the know is that that young lady, just bordering 30 somewhere years, just right about there, so basically in the prime, or starting to be in the prime of her life, was cut short. Went to the PMH with some kind of situation and did not make it out. A number of calls that young lady was made to whoever was on the ward, nurses, doctors, ward aides, whoever. A number of calls were made by that young lady, basically asking for a bedpan, I'm being told, for her to use, either to urinate or do whatever. And these calls they fell on deaf ears. No one responded to these calls. So in the process, I guess it was urgent enough. That young lady decided to help herself in the process by going to the bathroom on her own. And she went to the bathroom. In trying to make her way back to her bed, she basically fainted, she passed out, and all attempts to resuscitate her proved futile. So we have to ask ourselves as to really and truly what is going on in the healthcare department in Dominica. Yeah? Very sad way to go, but that is our reality. There are a lot of complaints, and as they say, 100 Frenchmen cannot be wrong. There is something fundamentally wrong at the PMH and the healthcare facilities around the length and breadth of this country. Fundamentally wrong, people. There's inadequate medication. My friend Newman from Grenada, good evening to you. There's inadequate or sometimes no medicine at these institutions. And so folks, I am not telling you something that I don't know about. I'm telling you what I know based on the facts of the matter. A number of family members have to tell me, Lofty, I have to go and see my mother, I just went to see my brother, my cousin, whatever it is. And I have to go and take that prescription to either Jolly's Pharmacy, Bullseye Pharmacy. Good evening, sir. I met a Dominican lady in Grenada, and he gave you high praises for your valuable work. I met a Dominican today, or not a lady, today. Navia, thank you very much. Thank you very much for passing on that information. All right, and whoever it is that spoke to you, I want to commend them as well. All right, but we are one people, and what affects you in Grenada sure have the potential to affect me in Dominica. So what you do over there for your people, I'm just replicating it here, that's all. And more people like you and I should be doing that across the length and breadth of the region. And so maybe by our commitment and relentless efforts, things will get better. All right, so once again, thanks. Yes, where was I? Yeah, a number of healthcare facilities around the region, people, around the country, sorry, don't have adequate medicinal supplies. They don't. We were told many years ago, the people under 18 years of age, meaning the age of consent in Dominica, would have gotten free health care. And to me, free health care, I would want to think attached to that should be free medicals as well, or free medication as well. And also, persons past 60, 65, it was said then. But the stark reality of the situation now, people, is that even these people that's supposed to be qualifying for this quote-unquote free healthcare, they have to pay. And so again, that is a promise unkept. We have what you call elective surgeries as well. Elective surgeries are basically, in medical terms, based on what, the information came to me, suggested that these surgeries are not, life-threatening surgery. So it's not no, surgery that you want to have to be rushed to an ICU or wherever it is to perform that surgery. Meaning it, you could delay it, but even these surgeries, there are actually no materials to perform these surgeries. So that is why some of these elective surgeries, persons have to be pushing back the date. Because why? When they come to do or decide to do, the medical people keep telling them that they cannot. Folks, I'm not telling you things that I just pulled from the sky. I'm telling you things that is reality at our hospital, at our health centers across the country. The staff there, they are stretched to the max. Imagine a nurse has to dress a sore or wound or whatever it is. And when she apply whatever on that wound, to hold it down, on the wound, masking tape or duct tape would have to be used. You waiting to see the photos? I may show you one or two one of these days. Masking tape have to be used to hold down that whatever it is, the gauze or whatever medication applied to that sore or that wound or that scrape or that bruise. And I'm telling you, that is our reality. So when you go to the PMH or health center across the length and breadth of this country, and that is the situation you're presented with, don't say you didn't know. And so that is why it behooves each and every one of us. Healthcare is a right. It is your right to be treated properly medically. It is a right that is protected under this international law. So what these people are doing here to Dominicans, they are violating you and I right to proper medical care. And so some of us sit down, like some people say in Dominica, and all we are prepared to do is gigi. Everything is a show. Everything is laughter. Everything is fun. Everything is frolic. And we are not understanding the reality, the very sad reality that we have found ourselves in Dominica as a people. So when a government fails to provide you, the citizenry, proper health care, they are going against your universal or international rights to proper health care. It's medical situations, people. There's a very thin line that some persons walk. Could either be life or death. And it is only when some of us, I just see a message came there from Mr. Grog. Mr. Grog, I think we'll have to defer that conversation with you this evening, because based on your facility that you'll be using, based on my experience doing these things, it will not hold. All right. So, but what I will do, I will read tonight your letter to the AG, and so on another note, on another time, another occasion, when you have that, solid enough signal, then we could have that conversation. All right, bro? So thank you very much for the understanding. But I'll be going through your letter in just a while. So Dominicans, yes. It's only when you or your family or close relative of yours ends up at the PMH or ends up in a facility that's supposed to be dispensing proper health care to you or your relative, and it is short, that is the time the reality kicks in. And that is the time some of you want to make it public and make it known, because you're vexed, you are this, because you've seen your relative passing out on your hand, and much more could have been done. And folks, before it reaches that stage or that state, now is the time to agitate. As they say in Dominica, in the Patois dialect, le kamawadu Bab, Puy Dife, Pont Glo, et puis Ouze Sao. When your neighbor's house is on fire, take a bucket of water to help put it out. Because your neighbor's house on fire, that fire, the heat from that fire could cross over to you. That's what it means in literal terms. But some of us, we are not prepared to take any bucket unless our house is on fire. And that is sad. And that is the mindset that programs like these seeking to change the mindset. So it's not just because your family is quote unquote comfortable now, they will not be in that predicament tomorrow. Life is very unpredictable. One time you're up, another time you're down. So folks, our health care in Dominica, apart from every other thing else, because if we don't have health, we certainly cannot have wealth. End of story. So apart from all the other sectors that we really have to look into to make sure it is working, it is the health care. And when a group of people can tell you that their family have insurance, or they have insurance for their family, so when the family gets sick, that what they are subjecting us to, they don't have to be subjected to that. Because the family have health insurance, they could be flown out. And some of you, sadly so, clapped at that. So you are clapping to your own demise. In another country where people were thinking properly, that statement, after hearing that statement, then that person would have been meted with something or some things. If we were thinking properly. But I guess under the political stupor that we are sometimes, or you are sometimes, on those political campaigns and those tirades and those fasts, then you guys don't understand, or your relatives don't understand what is being said to you. So they go with anything that is said from the platform, not understanding that they are clapping their own demise. I cannot remember which African leader that said it, but someone said it. Said basically, if a leader is leading you and his children cannot go to the same schools that your children are subjected to, that leader cannot be called a leader. If that leader is leading you, he and his family is not subjected to the same medical situation or conditions at their healthcare facilities in the country, that leader should not be considered as a good leader. Very, very profound indeed. And the list goes on and on and on. Because it seems as if the way we are going in this region is like as if our leaders are separate and apart from us, those that are governed. It should never be. The leaders supposed to be suffering similar fate, not same fate. I agree that there will be this, I understand. So it cannot be same, but it has to be similar fate. That is where they will understand the plight of their people and put things in place to make it better. But unless they suffer similar fate like us, then they will just be rulers or masters. And that is what it is in Dominica, sadly so, for some time. So folks, just to reiterate that point, our healthcare system is at its lowest ever. I don't think we can get lower than that. And I'm not talking for any insurance company now. If you guys can make it, especially in these struggling economic times, please get some kind of extra coverage so that just in case, you never know. Because this place that is called the PMH, I am telling you, whenever you go up there, you are not sure of coming back. And I say that without any reservation. That is the fact, the facts, and the facts. For simple things, simple procedures, simple medical attention, you're not sure of going back home to your family. So please, Dominicans, separate and apart from the agitating that we must do for better, let us try to, just to wind up and to concretize that point, we are celebrating what? Independence, so-called. We have a lot of people in the park for 3 nights. What if something tragic happens in that park? I'm just being hypothetical now. What if? If a hospital cannot take care of its citizens, can that same hospital cater for foreigners en masse? If something would happen. If something would happen. And for those of you who come to wine and dine, you need to focus on that as well. And I know some of the naysayers will say, oh, you're crying down the country. But it's better I cry down the country and tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the country, than you come in the country and you get stuck in the country. You get bite by the country that you didn't cater for. To be warned, they say, is to be forearmed. That's it. Dominicans, let's move to another plane now in terms of information. Okay, before I move to that plane, I just want to say here very categorically that I saw my name mentioned in an article by a group that call themselves the Associates Times or whatever it is. I will not be responding to what I read therein, only to say what I read basically is gibberish, hogwash, and not dealing with the issue or issues head on. But like in all dictatorships, always try to deflect, always try to crucify, castigate, vilify, whatever it is, the messenger or messengers, and not dealing with the message appropriately. And so I'm not going to waste time on that. That is water under the bridge. Let's move on. What I want to waste time on is what the article, the doctors, the spinners, the surrogates, the propagandists did not take time off to pen as well. And so, what's his name? Zach Coplin, one of the lead investigators, called names of persons with our passport who are known criminals. We were just saying that before, like we are known criminals, or we will say, but he worked on the case with other journalists around the globe, and he mentioned names. And the names he mentioned were just names that, he came up with for the program itself or what he could remember off his head. But there are many more. That rebuttal, very weak, very feeble rebuttal, I must say, never paid attention to the names that Mr. Coupling called. So whoever you are, whoever you purport to be, you need to go and acquaint yourself with the names that are associated to criminal activities with Dominica's passport. And so when you can clean up that mess, you can come with a proper rebuttal. When you can clean up the mess of there are persons acting as agents that will, I am saying, give people passports because the facilitation is so quick. It is like they're making a call and the passport is within 1 or 2, 3 days. When you can have that without the due diligence being done, you need now to come back with a rebuttal on that. Because there are persons talking, people. There are persons talking who have our passports as we speak, and they are saying how much time it took them to get that document. And so due diligence now is outside of the window when it comes to some of these people. When you have some of the same people with criminally minded minds would pay to some of the agents out there all kind of money, and all these agents are prepared to do, it is to put into that escrow account 100,000 US, and some of them receiving 300,000 US. Not for the other segment of the program, not for the investment type. It is for the applicants type, persons who are buying their citizenship. Where the rest of the money? Some persons have been told are receiving up to $750,000 US for the purchase of the passport. Where is the rest of the money? And so the spin doctors should come back with a rebuttal to that, because these are the unanswered questions, and not try to lynch the messenger by this and this. No. That can't cut. In the 21st century, that cannot cut it anymore. These spin doctors as well should acquaint themselves to the fact that up till now, not the quote-unquote demigod of Dominica, not even the lowest ranking member in the CBI program, have come and offered one explanation as to the reporting by these journalists. And that speaks volume, people. So in this cabal's usual style of doing things, they think that too will just die a natural death and business go on as usual. But when your business, when Dominica's business is in 15 different languages in terms of translation, when Dominica's business is picked up by 15 reputable media houses across the globe, when your business is being written about, touted about by hundreds of journalists out there who are worth their salt, that cannot just go away. And so you are saying about people bringing down the program, you by your actions or inactions are bringing down the program. So when this journalist called you guys, how many times? And you know, with technology today, you have a call log, missed call, call forwarded, call this, call that, and can prove through that log the number of attempts made by a number of people who are supposed to be in the know, and everything went unanswered. It was like a policy that was passed. Please do not answer these people. Sometimes it is said, by you saying nothing, you are saying plenty things. And so, I am just saying, these guys should now acquaint themselves to that. Dominicans, this so-called airport, I am putting it to us tonight. This so-called airport in the Wesley area, that's done. It is done. So if it's that kind of money to finish whatever they started up there, Dominicans, remember the Layo River saga. It will be another white elephant in Wesley. And God alone knows the intent of the Chinese now, when that will eventually be our reality in Dominica. And by the way, as we're in the airport, do you know that it was just about 3 weeks ago that a report from the engineers was sought out? Do you guys know that? Just about 3 weeks ago. We have been hearing about that airport drama for some time now, right? But just about 3 weeks ago, a report from the engineers involved were brought to the fore, or was requested 3 weeks ago. When you go up in Wesley, you will see for yourself as to really and truly what is the intention of our new colonizers. What is their intention? You had people, companies, who came to Dominica and did infrastructural works for us in Dominica. I must say, maybe not on that grand scale, because why? The airport to me is one of the biggest projects that Dominica could undertake. I understand that. But people, when a company or companies come to do something in another country, there's this, or you call it, there's this balancing act that must happen. And the balancing act they must do, what I mean is that you don't come to make your bed. You come to sleep, but you don't come to make your bed. If you understand that lingo. And what the Chinese are doing, they are now dealing in livestock. The Chinese complex, if you see them, they are stronger than some of you guys' foundation in Dominica where your housing is concerned. So don't tell me you're going down 6 feet with a foundation and that foundation is supposed to be temporary. Not in Talgo so. We had these companies, Nelotier, Sintra, all these companies came to Dominica, especially during freedom time, build roads, do whatever, and they left. But you did not see that kind of a sort of, imposing yourself on Dominicans or imposing yourself on Dominicans. Don't take my word for it, people. Dominica is your land, Dominica not my own alone. You guys need to go to Wesley and see for yourself in real time what is happening. Go up there. Independence time is a right time to do that. Go up there. And so when we hear about that fuss about Chinese coming to build an airport, we have to take that with a grain of salt. Chinese as a race, Chinese as a people, do nothing for nothing. And I will tell you that every time I get the opportunity, once I speak about the Chinese as a people, as a race, when they plan, when their Red Party plan, they plan for 100 years. If you don't know that, know it tonight. I watch news, BBC News, NBC News, and you know what is happening in China now? Basically, there's this thrust. I've been for some time, but there's this extra move now to get Chinese out of China. Get Chinese out of Beijing. Get them out to go populate the world. Let's spread our wings. There's even an incentive now where China, the ruling party, the Communist Party, is making policy now to basically help sponsor children. We heard that there a while ago, or sometime back in Dominica, but they haven't taken a road. The Red Party in China basically is telling Chinese, you guys are not making enough children. Make more, and we, the government, will supply. That is because when these people plan, they plan for 100 years plus. So don't tell me the little guys within Dominica there, that was not a planned move. And we have a man they call Roosevelt now at the helm, basically just letting them sit comfortable on a sofa, as it were, giving them everything on a silver platter. Go and cut ties with China as a country. Dominica into China. I'm not an Einstein, but it goes into China. Dominica can go into China many times. When I tell you many, with capital M. One province in China is how many times of Dominica? So when you're dealing with a people like that, you have to understand what is happening. When you look at the whole geopolitical nature of the politics that you're dealing on a global scale, if you are not in tune to what is happening and what is to come, you will be like a fish out of water. Trust me. And so when all we can do as a people, as a country, as a government, is sell our birthrights and have Chinese now come into basically, drill down on their intentions, where are we as a people? And it is that level of madness we, the Dominican people, have to deal with. So when you're hearing about 40,000 passports, that is what? 2/3 already of our entire population, if we have all that. We are already outrun in our country. We already outrun people. So if we don't take a step now to stem that tide, then as Spider said in song, we can sing Sankey. Yeah? I'm telling you guys, that airport in Wesley, we will hear the end of that. Because trust me, people, something is amiss. You have the Chinese embassy in Mont Daniel. That is another thing that has gone under the radar and persons have not been taking note. You have a Chinese embassy in Mont Daniel. Close proximity to that embassy, as it were, is where Roosevelt Skerrit stays, a stone throw away, in a mansion, he said, that belongs to Anthony Hayden. But a lot of people in Dominica, including myself, we are not buying that. Adjacent to that mansion is another mansion, I must say, where another mansion is under construction. And if you see these mansions, they are not, in terms of architecture, they are not nothing close to what we know in Dominica. Nothing. All you're seeing is concrete, concrete, and more concrete. And to qualify the concrete, it is reinforced concrete. So it is not like you build in your home in Dominica, you go by Paris or wherever it is and get blocks, put up columns with steel and ring. No, 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 no. These structures are reinforced concrete. It's like you're making a retainer wall. You know how that is. You put your steel work in there and it's pure solid concrete, measured concrete. That is what these structures up there, how they're being constructed. Living in one presently, supposed to be out of that, like what? A year plus now, no regard for the people, no excuse, no coming back and say, you know, nothing at all. No word as to why he's not out as yet. But came a couple months ago with this kind of hypocritical cry. Oh, my children, my children, my children. People asking my children this, my children that. People are asking your children again. Dominicans, we are in for something, you know. You have a man that is leading this country, and to me, has lost his mind. But I guess, as they say, a people gets the government that they deserve. So let's see how that jive. Let's see how that jive, people. We're moving on. There is the situation now. An accident that happened on the 13th of August of this year, where a young man got knocked down by somebody, they say, another young man, and they said his name was Malik, or is Malik Skerrit. And I want to go back there. I want to revisit that with us so that you can understand some things now. And I'll be asking 3 questions of Malik Skerrit / Roosevelt Skerrit and their handlers tonight. And those questions, if ever you guys get to ask them, you need to ask them as well. Now I have videos, I have photos, I have whatever it is. So I'm talking to you now from a position of analyzing things. The vehicle in question that it is said that Malik Skerrit was driving on the night, registration number TM854. TM854. A black vehicle, Mitsubishi Outlander is the brand. Question number 1 for Mr. Malik Skerrit, Roosevelt Skerrit, and the handlers. 1. That Mitsubishi Outlander TM854, that Malik was driving that night and caused that accident where a young man, nicknamed Cannot Dress, died in the process. And we heard about the whatever that went with it. Some people are still denying, some persons are still on the fences. Question number 1. Was Malik, at the time of that incident, or accident rather, was his license, his personal license now, up to date? That's question number 1. Again, I want to repeat question number 1. Was Malik Skerritt's license, personal license that is, was his license up to date as per the records at Inland Revenue? Question number 2. And it gets a little more interesting. Who really is the rightful owner of TM854? Who really is the owner of TM854? And question number 3 for now. Did the Customs and Excise Department in Dominica receive sufficient funds for the clearing or clearance of TM854? So question number 1, was Mr. Malik Skerritt personal license up to date? Question number 2, who is the rightful owner of TM854? Question number 3, did the Excise and Custom Department in Dominica receive sufficient funds or adequate funds for the clearance of that said vehicle, TM854? Those questions will be very, very interesting as time deals with that situation. So now maybe some of you now, you are trying to connect the dots as to that lavish kind of send-off now that you saw for Cannot Dress. He was properly dressed. Is there something or some things that the people in question were trying to cover up by buttering up the people or relatives of Cannot Dress? I'm just asking a question. Dominicans, we are living in a very, very strange country. But the facts always come to light. And mark you, I said the facts always comes to light. I didn't say the truth. Because sometimes you have your truth, my truth, their truth, our truth. Too many truths. But the facts is what matter. And they always come to light. It can take months, years, period of time, facts always come to light. And so these 3 questions that I just asked, I want to lay them at the feet of Malik Skerritt, Roosevelt Skerritt, and the handlers, so that some kind of answers can be forthcoming. And they will be asked over and over again. So they're not going anywhere. All right? They're not going anywhere. They ain't going anywhere. Now, it is 7:10. let me now get to a letter of Mr. Jason Grogg. Jason Grogg, by now, some of you, or if not all of you, should know about a situation that occurred with him and some church organizations and whatever it is this year, earlier this year. I still think that is a court matter pending before the courts, but Jason Grogg reached out to yours truly in his own style and fashion, sent a letter to me. I think that he sent to the AG. But obviously the AG will not let you hear that letter from Jason Grogg. So it was copied to yours truly. And I'm going to let you hear that letter by reading that letter to you. Okay? As I said to you, Jason Grogg was supposed to be on the program tonight live with me, but through some internet issues, he couldn't be here tonight. Okay? So we will take up Mr. Jason Grogg sometime in a subsequent program. But just to suffice, that is tonight, we'll be hearing at least a letter he penned to none other than Mr. Levi Peters, that is the Attorney General in Dominica. Okay? Let me see if I can get to that letter. Let me see if I can get to this letter. Yeah. It says here, it says, first letter to the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Mr. Jason Grogg, St. Joseph, Commonwealth of Dominica, 24th of October in the year of our Lord 2023. Chambers of the Attorney General, 3rd floor, Government Headquarters, Kennedy Avenue, Roseau, Dominica. Telephone number 767-266-3006. The letter starts by saying, Dear Attorney General Levi Peter, good day. I write to you in deep disappointment that you will not make right the wrong that your office has perpetrated against my children. The slanderous persecution of my family is a deep stain upon your office, one that you should seek to make right. Let me remind you of what the role is as the Attorney General and why it should be an honorable position. First, let us outline the role of your chambers as supposed to undertake for the people to ensure justice. Let me take that line again. First, let us outline your role your chambers is supposed to undertake for the people to ensure justice. The chambers of the Attorney General ensures that justice system, registry department, companies and intellectual property, office as well as financial intelligence unit of Dominica function effectively and efficiently, not only as individual entities but collectively as a whole. In this way, the objectives of the Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs as well as the government are able to be attained. There's a subheading, functions of the Attorney General include 1. Timely and accurate drafting of legislations. 2. Provisions of sound legal advice and representation to the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica. 3. The management of the judicial process. 4. Administration of business, land and civil registration services. Mission: to protect and promote intellectual property rights, provide sound legal advice and representation, administer justice and ensure proficient analysis and investigation of financial crimes in an efficient manner. Vision: to attain a more just, secure and enhanced justice system. Description and organizational structure. The Chambers of the Attorney General has the following divisions. 1. Companies and Intellectual Property. 2. Director of Public Prosecutions Office. 3. Financial Intelligence Unit. And 4. Legal Aid Clinic. It also continues Magistrates Court Magistracy. And 5. Registry / Supreme Court. Inquiring minds want to know where I obtain this information. You can look no further than the website of the government. You can look no further than the website of the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, nationalsecurity.gov.dm. To further aid in your understanding of my position, I will define some of the key aspects that should be easy to adhere to when dealing with my family, especially my 3 youngest children. Again, let me define what you and your chambers should do. Honorable, quote unquote. The honorable, quote unquote, is a recognition of honor in the United Kingdom, the countries of the Commonwealth, and the United States. It is taken from the French honorable and ultimately derived from the Latin honorable, meaning worthy of honor. The term applies to a person with a high position, worthy of respect and of high morals. The position that you hold and that your office is supposed to uphold requires the understanding of honor. Honor by what standard is the next logical question, as it has become quite clear that there is a serious lack of understanding in our modern time. Where should we start then? We have to start with the Word of God as defined in the Bible, beginning with Genesis and ending in Revelation. Secondly, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Bible says all creatures are to honor God in Genesis. We read about how God created all things, even creating humans in his own image, known by the theological definition of the imago Dei. Then God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish and sea, and of birds of the heavens, or birds of the air, and the heavens, and over the livestock, and over earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image and likeness. Of God he created him. Male and female he created them. We are to honor our Creator by honoring one another, male and female. This honor is to be extended to Christ above all men. He is the ruler of all nations, even Dominica. There is so much more, as we will see in my following letters. The last paragraph reads, people, the Constitution of Dominica, whereas the people of Dominica have affirmed that the Commonwealth of Dominica is founded upon the principles of knowledge and supremacy of God, faith in fundamental human rights and freedoms, the position of the family of the society of free institutions, the dignity of the human person, and equal and inalienable rights with which all members of the family are endowed by their Creator. It appears that we have much to think on, and I have even more to write about until my next letter. Jason Grogg, the letter ends, and there's a quote now by C.S. Lewis, which says, where men are forbidden to honor a king, they honor millionaires, athletes, or film stars instead, even famous prostitutes or gangsters. For spiritual nature, like bodily nature, will be served. Deny it food, and it will gobble poison. So folks, that is the quote from C.S. Lewis as penned by Jason Grogg in his letter to the Attorney General. As he said in his letter, there will be much more engagement, much more writings, I guess directed at Levi Peter, as his case is pending in the courts of Dominica as well. All right. As to where the chips will fall, then I guess the courts will decide. But what I can tell you, based on what I've been hearing so far, then some things are not really adding up, read that matter. All right. I'm not at liberty now to share any information now. So all I ask of you is that you keep your eyes and ears very, very close to that case of Mr. Jason Grogg and I guess Customs and Excise Department of Dominica. All right, people. It's now 20 past the hour of 7 o'clock. Let me just tell you guys as well, tomorrow, Sunday, there will be no Civic Vibes program tomorrow, unfortunately. We have taken a decision, that is the Civic Vibes team, that is, have taken a decision to sort of just, mellow it down a bit by giving you guys a quote-unquote holiday. Taking into consideration some persons, deep smack into the quote-unquote independent season. And, some persons may want that time just to do their thing. So we did not want to bore you guys with that information, okay? But you just heard from a letter, you just heard a letter from Mr. Jason Grogg, and as he said, there'll be much more coming from him, and maybe sometime in the future, we'll be having him right here in the program where somebody questions will be asked of him, and so you guys could get a better snapshot as to really and truly what went down and what may go down in that situation where Mr. Jason Grogg and his family was concerned, and guns found in a container, and the church was involved, and the full 9 yards. All right, people. All right. What we're gonna do now? Is that I heard an expose, as it were, by none other than Miss, what's her name, Francisca Joseph. All right, I think they had that program last Thursday, and I think she did a very excellent job in terms of just breaking down or letting us understand much more about this how you call it, this classification drive, whereby ministers of government, certain persons who work in the civil service would have gotten an increase. So the compliments, the kudos now must be given to Francisca / UWP for what I'm going to play next. When I listened to it, there was much food for thought, and so I just thought I would share it with you guys so that you could get a much better understanding of what went on in terms of some government officials taking onto themselves a salary increase. Take a listen, people. We're gonna get that coming up in just a bit. Let me see if we can get that queued up. Where's my file? Yeah, okay. Right there. So I think after we go through that at least 10 minutes expose by Francisca / a team, then we'll just kind of open it up till the 8 o'clock hour. All right. Take a listen, people. Take a little listen.
The government of Dominica has approved recommendations coming from the completed organizational review on reclassification of the public service.
Now, the reclassification exercise came into effect a number of years ago, even before I left the public service. And it was to reclassify your jobs, to look at what you do and to decide whether what you do is quantifiable to the amount that you receive every month. Some workers do a lot more than what is included in a job description, as well as some people do not do much. So it wouldn't be fair to a public officer who goes above and beyond the call of duty to do other things, and persons who do not do anything much on their job description receive the same recompense.
As announced by the Minister of Finance in the 2023-2024 budget, as of this month, September, the new salary structure approved by the Cabinet will come into effect. Under the new structure, salaries for employees at all levels will be increased, with the exception of level 1, which remains unchanged.
All levels except level 1. All levels except level 1. So you have these number of people who include the drivers, messengers, and others at that level. Already the take-home pay is nothing, and they will not reclassify the jobs who have no import. They got nothing. Now the public service headcount, according to the approved 2023-24 estimates, is 4,733. 3,824 established and non-established, about 909 persons.
And just over 2,940 public officers will benefit from the new salary structure, resulting in an overall increase of 6%, with some public officers benefiting from up to 13% increase in salaries. This will result in an increase in the government wage bill by an estimated $9 million annually.
Now, as you know, we have many levels up to level 19 in the public service. There are 1,793 public service employees, level 1, non-established. These are the people who are on the lowest level in the public service, non-established. So these people did not get a wage increase. The monthly pay of most of these level 1 employees is between $1,400 and $2,100. So $1,400 and $2,100. That's below the monthly combined travel and entertainment allowance of ministers of government. The minister combined travel is $2,239. The monthly pay for most of these level 1 employees, and we talk about the level 1 would be the messengers, the drivers, the junior clerks, is between $1,400 and $2,100 monthly. That is below travel and entertainment allowance of ministers of government, whose salaries have been increased by 20% or $1,600 per month. That is more than a salary of a junior clerk, messenger, or a driver. Many of them. And the headman himself take a salary increase of 30%. That is $3,000 more per month. You all were never part of the reclassification exercise. Never. And hence the reason why it was clandestinely taken. They gave themselves 20 and 30%. They gave themselves. They took 20 and 30%. Nobody knew. It didn't go through the process. It came as a shock to a lot of public officers. You come on a platform and you say, look, public officers at the end of the day, there will be a reclassification exercise. At the end of September, they'll be getting an increase. Why didn't you say the same thing as well? That as well as the public officers, the ministers of government and myself will receive our own as well. What is so wrong in doing it?
So the question of who will benefit as of this September by this new measure, we're talking about many of our essential service providers, our teachers and principals, public police officers, fire officers, doctors, nurses, environmental health officers, and others who serve on the front line of the public sector, providing key services to members of the public at critical times. These public officers and their families will be better off and better able to take care of the commitments.
So are you telling me that the 1,700 plus, they have no commitments, right? They have nothing to take care of. They don't have children. They have no dependents, nothing.
This reflects the government's policy to do all it can, even in a difficult economic period, to improve the lives of all our citizens.
And I got confirmation that from nurses that some of them never even saw the dollar to even get it on their salary. They saw nothing. Nurses
who were on the front line of the public
nurses
service
who were on the front line during COVID.
And working double shift.
Double shift. And they still continue to work. They all now work double shift. My point is, you speak of how good it's going to be for them. how lovely it will be. They can take care of all the commitments, all the problems that they've had due to lack of finance. They will be able to take care of it on what you say you will give them. And I was told today that some of them got a little bit more, and they asked them, they said they have to pay back. A couple hundred is too much, so they have to take it back.
But the ministers did not get too much at 1,600.
Right, exactly.
And Mrs. Kerry did not get too much at 3,000.
And this is what I want public officers to listen. We are there to talk about the issues that affect you. And this is what affects you greatly. Now, who is really better off? Or who is better able to take care of their commitments? Whose lives have been improved? With $24, with $50, with $0, with nothing at all? So isn't it the people who got their $1,000 more per month, their $1,600 more per month, their $3,000 more per month? These are the people who are able to take care of their commitments. Yet, the people who turn the wheel of the public service, these are the people who make the public service work. Some of them got nothing.
Not only turn the wheel, oil the wheel for
it. And they do it with little or no resources.
Yeah.
And I meet a few public officers who tell me like, 33 and a third year you work in a public service, yet you have a reclassification exercise, and I'm not part of it. A young lady, maybe she's missed 20-something years I'm in this service, I'm not appointed. Almost 3 decades of acting in a public service. Are you going to continue this way? Because this will thrive on your fear. Because they realize you are afraid, you will not speak out, you will not say anything, you will die in it, and you will not say anything. But we are calling tonight on public officers. Yes, we are standing with you, we will continue to stand with you, we will continue to talk about your cases, but you have to take a stand as well. You have to stand up. It's not just a factions to stand, like nurses have something and they do it, and teachers of the state college do something, and doctors do something. It has to take a collective, because every one of us is affected. The nurses have dependents. You know, everybody else has dependents, and they depend on these little salaries that you make for their daily living. How can you take 20 and 30% and you give the public officers, some of them nothing at all, and you tell them it will be a wonderful day for them at the end of September, they will take care of everything they need to take care of. These are people who can barely take care of their loans, their children. They have children to go to school.
Dependence they got, the mothers, the fathers.
So we are calling on public officers. The time is now. It cannot be tomorrow. It can't be any day. The time is now for you to stand up and be counted.
All right. Again, I want to say kudos, thank you to Francisca. I think that was excellently executed on their program that is Thursday Gone. Someone sent it to me today, and after listening to it, I thought she and them made a lot of sense in terms of they breaking down what transpired, you know, just before, in terms of more monies being doled out to ministers of government. And so I just say, I learned something. So seeing that these programs are our learning times together, then I thought I'd punch it on you guys so that you guys could learn something as well, those of you who did not listen in real time. All right. Many things were said by her, plenty food for thought. But the takeaway for me was the point that she was really driving at is that the people really who keep this country afloat, who keep this country running, it is the civil servants. And these people are really and truly, they are really on the shorter end of the stick as it pertains to they being compensated or remunerated properly for work done. But what you find is the opposite of that. You have these fly-by-nights politicians, some of them being chosen by one man, and come and get increase after increase after increase on a people that are there working the system in order that Dominica stay afloat. And so when you hear the stories, the sad stories that comes out from our civil servants in Dominica, who is not appointed after how many years, who is at the same salary for how many years, who is this, who is that, And it is just painstaking to hear these situations over and over again. And so, like Francisca said, it is time for these people now to step up to the plate. People cannot be talking for you on your behalf ever so often, and you guys are not prepared to move a muscle. That equation just cannot jive. So if you guys are the backbone of the country moving in a particular direction, then the backbone should mean something. Because without that backbone in my back there tonight, I can't stand from that chair, people. Without that spinal cord in that backbone, I cannot stand from that chair. That is what allows me or you to stand and do certain things. So if these civil servants are spineless and they don't have any backbones, or they don't want to show their worth in a system that is pressing them down, then who else can do it for you other than you? The number of you in that service, if you guys decide to stand together, band together with a common call for your advancement, for what is rightfully due to you in mass, not in that little one-off thing there, no, in mass. And so I understand having a dictator on your back for 20-25 years, it is not the easiest of things to pull off. But in China, people are protesting. In Russia, people are protesting. In Venezuela, people are standing up for their rights. And so what is it with us in Dominica? What is it with you in Dominica that you choose not to stand? Not for anybody else, but for yourself. For yourself. And so you have teachers back against the wall, police back against the wall, nurses back against the wall, doctors back against the wall, people working in the service, their backs are against the wall. And it is just pathetic what is happening in this country. And coupled on that, you have this, I am saying, useless. Some of them, they are useless. You do see these ministers, you do hear them. It's like, and they're just drawing a salary on your back. And raising it ever so often. And you guys are there just taking that. We have to do something better than that, Dominican. It is past time. It is past time. So all the civil servants that will come in your ears and come in my ears and shoo. Now is not time for shoo. Now it's time to make those shoo-shoos known. And how you can make them known is by standing up. MLK said, until a man, and I guess he was referring to women as well, stands erect, then your oppressor will continue to ride your back. Because why? You are facilitating him with a bent back. But the moment you decide to stand straight and confront your issues head on, then you will get a different situation. You will get a different reality. And that is what we have not been able to do in Dominica, is to stand up as a people. There's nothing to be scared of, people. There's nothing to be so fearful about. And so what? You lose a job. And so what? Your child doesn't get a scholarship that was promised to you. Some of you will never get it anyway. And if you do that in the collective, that job, that scholarship, that whatever it is, it will be gotten. It will be. And so I really cannot understand why is Dominicans so fearful about their own livelihood. This thing, Dominicans, is a very serious thing. It is basically whether you live or you die. That is what it boils down to. And so for us to be there in this kind of limbo state, not wanting to make or take progressive actions to fix our problem, we will always be there in that state. The worst thing that a dictator could even dream of is people standing together. And this has biblical reference, people. As to how true it is or how false it is, I don't know, but it is recorded that when these people decided to build a tower up to wherever they were trying to reach, they were united in that purpose day in, day out. And it is said, when the good Lord of hosts realized, these people are really serious, he had to come down and take action, confuse them, because they were united in that effort. And so the principle there is, unitedness is key. We have to be united, people. So if you know your co-worker is getting some 300 or whatever on the side, leave her in a story. Because at the end of the day, she will understand, or he will understand, if this country sinks, we all sink. And that is what these cunning ministers do so clandestinely. Right. In that the people who have the little positions, the supervisors, this, that, they butter up their mouth. They give them the crumbs. And so these are like the slaves on the plantation. Once they're close to their master, they're okay. But even that too came to an end. And so Dominicans, I'm telling us, I am imploring on us, let us do what needs to be done to save this land. This land under DLP and Roosevelt, it has not prospered. It has not. Except for the passport peddlers. Except for some of the few who are quote-unquote benefiting personally. Those who are getting their jobs and their offers and whatever it is. Those who can travel on Dominica's taxpayers' dollars. You know, they're always in the air. And it's like as if they are just pervading over the land. We can do better than that, Dominicans. There is a better Dominica that awaits all of us. There was a better Dominica. When you speak to people in the 60s and the 70s and they describe the Dominica to you they used to live in compared to what we have today, it is like a shell of a country. It is like a shell. How many people, and I keep asking that question ever so often, how many people can at least now, apart from the passport peddlers in Dominica, just go on their account and borrow somebody 5,000 EC? How many people? And if there are 10 of you on the live Dominicans living here that can do that, show me your hands. Because this economy, it has basically just fallen apart. And you have like the dictators in Mali and Togo and these kind of places where our ancestors said they came from, just running, skimming off with the wealth of the country. We are witnessing that today. And so I'm saying without any reservation, Roosevelt's carrot has been the worst thing that happened to Dominica in terms of leadership. The worst. Very worse. And if we can get, there's a word called what? Worse? More worse? No. If we can get more cruel than that, then we better just pack up and ask the good Lord to call us home. The worst. That is what it is. Everything is literally falling apart other than these guys, whatever they set up. Talk to a nurse, talk to a doctor, talk to a policeman, talk to students, and they will tell you, what's the state of our college? What's the state of our college, our premier learning institution in Dominica? Hear their plight. We just spoke about our hospitals. Agriculture is on the back foot. Tourists don't come here to spend money here. There's nothing to spend money here on. Literally. Literally. So we are how many years back? That is the crux of the matter, people. And I don't know how to say it again. Dominicans are basically living from hand to mouth. Every day is a struggle in this country. It's a struggle. And so when you see some Dominicans enjoying themselves and you get the behind story, get the back story as to how they can entertain themselves, by what means, what mode, and you will understand where we are as a people. Some Dominicans are basically just drunken themselves in that sort of living in a drunken state. The problem is so much. They get up in the morning, they're drunk. They go to sleep, they're drunk. They got up in the afternoon, they're more drunk. Because why? They just want to just dream their problems away. Drunk their problems away. Drink it away. But that is not the fix for this country. When you hear some of these people have to be, whatever it is, genuflecting there, to get a dress, to hair, buy, nails, and all kind of foolishness. Just to be in the thing, to be in it. And they come back home empty. You can see it on their faces, some of them. Walking home in the mornings early. You can see it. They really go to try to entertain themselves. But at the end of the day, the entertainment was, there's a void. There's a void. And that's the reality, people. That's our reality in the country. And speak to young people, you will find that out for yourself. You have men, boys on the block just, doing what? No economic activity, no drivers to push this economy forward. Men get up in the morning and it's like as if, well, if they don't have to get up, they don't need to get up. Because there's nothing to get up to. Young women, some of them have jobs and it's like the job itself is like it's better they didn't have. And that is what a government has brought the country to and its citizens to. And don't come and compare the Caribbean. No. I'm living Dominica. I'm talking about Dominica. Some of you like to paint that broad brush. Oh, he's over there too. Oh, he's no. He who is in the kitchen feels the heat of that kitchen. Let St. Lucians talk about St. Lucia. Let Grenadians talk about Grenada. But don't paint me no broad brush. No. We have to deal with our country on merit. That's it. And if it is not good, it's not good. End of story. No hanky-panky foolishness and going all over the place and trying to come up with some kind of justification. Why? No, it's not good, it's not good. Today was what? Market day for difference, they say. You should pass in the market today. Well, I didn't pass. But I have a good idea what went on there. Because there can be no big difference than the other days I'm going there. Trust me. When you're hearing stories about a farmer will bring their produce to sell early in the market, and other farmers in the market, other sellers, other people who in the trade, buying off their stuff and cutting it in 2 or 3 to resell at the same price or even higher, you have to ask yourself a question. What is happening? And I'm not asking you, I am telling you. So for some of you didn't get it, let me just break it down so you could understand what I said. Somebody would maybe bring down, a farmer would maybe bring down a bunch of plantain and sell that bunch of plantain $10. I'm just throwing out that figure. What do you call them? The other people in the market, the hustlers, would buy that plantain $10 and basically end up getting $30, $40 on that plantain. That is a level of madness. People would bring their time, their celery, their parsley, their whatever. Other people would split it in 3 and sell it $3 for whatever they split it into. And I'm telling you that happens on an everyday basis. So maybe today the market had a little more decorations and whatever put up. But the price, there was no stark difference in decreasing the price. And that is what it is, people. That is what it is. And I don't know how else for me to explain it to us in Dominica for us to understand we as a people, we are basically up to our throats, up to our nose as it were, with that kind of a quasi kind of a governance in the country. Dominicans, we have not known that. Where did that all come from? Why have we just laid back and decide, okay, why? We can't do much better than that. And I am counting on you. Yes, you watching tonight. You that think you don't have what it takes. I'm counting on you to be counted. Because Dominica needs saving. There has to be a salvation of this country. Come hell, high water. Because where we are on now, people, it is not good. When young people cannot have hope in a country that they're born, it says something. When the elderly basically after living all their lives, and in their twilight of years, they have to, struggle. It says something. And so 25 years of labor means 25 years of labor pain. Women, answer to that. I'm not a woman, but I have heard stories. When women are in labor, all that is on their mind is to deliver. So no matter how hard they have to push, they will do the pushing. Because that pain is unbearable. And so after 25 years of labor now, that pain has literally become unbearable. And so the Dominicans, those of us who have this country at heart, we have to push. We have to continue to push. We have to deliver this country, people. We cannot stay in that political stupor for much too long. And that is just my heart to heart, because I normally like to give us the heart to heart vibes. That's just my heart to heart to you. So I'm pleading to us, let us do what we have to do to save this land. Nobody, no foreigner, no CIA, no journalist, nobody's coming to save it for us. We have to do it ourselves. We have to do it, Dominicans. It's 5 minutes to, I get out of here in 5 minutes time. So Dominicans, any questions, any comments, any suggestions, any whatever, we can deal with that in the next 5 minutes and we move. Lafoy Julian says, this 25 years of labor is really unbearable. I am always ready to push together we can. Yes, and that's the idea. So Lafoy, you have that mindset. Please let that mindset latch on and catch on to at least 2 or 3 friends of yours. That is your responsibility. Iron sharpeneth iron. Let it catch on, because it only takes a spark to get a fire going. So whatever you have in you for Dominica, trust me, talk to your quote-unquote labor right friends. Let them understand. Let them put sense in their head. They may not listen to me, but they listen to you. And we should never give up on Dominicans. I know some people have this kind of a, throw in the towel kind of thing. Nah, we have to see the day. We have to envisage the day when Dominica will be liberated. That should be front and center in our minds. Trust me on that, people. Dory says, unless the people wake up to reality, the country will continue to regress, in my humble opinion. Yes, and that is why, Mr. Drago, we are here every Saturday. When you get that information, share it with them. Share it with them. Don't keep it to yourself. So all of you on the live there, share it with your people who have like minds like you. They do need to see that. Labor rights, people who are warped in their thinking. Even if you think they don't want to see, share it with them. Tell them I have a gift for you. Listen to that. And let's have a conversation. Direct them to my number. Let me have a tete-a-tete. That is what's going to make it at the end of the day. Lester David Durham says good night. Mali Austria, Haitians standing up for their right. UC 2021, they came to the president with foreign help. John Alfred says Dominicans has made their public servants into celebrities, so good luck educating them. Well, John Alfred, yes, I understand where we are. But trust me, when we read about countries and the dictatorships, it did not happen overnight. And we are in a full-fledged, full-trenched dictatorship in Dominica. And so if you decide to give up the ghost, then that's fine. But there are persons who are not willing to give up the ghost, because nothing, absolutely nothing lasts forever. And there is time to salvage what is left of our country. Trust me. We have to see the back of that DLP regime. Come hell high water. And those who will come, they should not rest easy as well. Because the price of freedom, it is said, is eternal vigilance. You have to be always there at it. Never go to sleep. And we went to sleep on the wheel in 2004. And we have not awakened yet from that sleep as Dominicans. Give the young man a chance. That chance, it's costing us now. All these times about this Binbok ball and this tour, we should have acted as a people. Pierre Charles should have fired Roosevelt from his cabinet. Rosie Douglason should have never ever even think of having Vincent Skerritt as part of his cabinet. That was a mistake on his part as leader. Today, we may have had another dictator, but not those two, not that one. And so, we made our errors along the way. But it's time for us to open up, wise up, and take the necessary actions. 2 minutes to the hour. Tora Brady, oh yes, Dominica needs saving in caps. Tora and I agree with you 110%. Larry Lloyd says, sorry to see what happened in Haiti is what needs to happen in Dominica. That's the only way we can change things here. Kent Joseph says, the first indicator to understand things are bad in the country is population growth. Only countries with negative population growth are Dominica and Haiti. Go figure. Petra Carbon Judge writes, where there is no vision, the people perish. Leaders without vision are heading for failure. Let me see if I could take some new comments. And Marshall Lawrence, right? Lord have mercy. An admin who has access to most funds than any other country in history. Edna Ernest writes, a leader with no vision, no morals, no respect, no love for country and its people is a pappy show indeed. Who else we have here? Can take care before we go. This is heartbreaking. Agustina John says that. I'm just trying to take some names that I haven't called tonight as yet. Alistair Irish says, look, I just saw a lady from St. Joe, a laborite to be more precise, begging a pal rep. Begging a pal rep. They say for a ticket for the show, how things are sad. Just tuning on social media. But we got the gist of your comment, Alistair. All right. I just choose not to call the pal rep name that you mentioned because I cannot verify that for a fact. All right. Manuel in PS says, from Times Square say that the people in Dominica leave him to free. The people should have stand up and get him out by saying that should tell them that he doesn't care about them. A number of other comments, people, but we have to go indeed. Aura says, wake up, Dominicans, wake up. Let me see. Lauren Lestrade says, there's hope for Dominica. Yes, Lauren, there is hope for Dominica. Bernard Ulysses Lofty, I just tuned in. I got caught up cooking. Well, you need to bring some stuff over, Ulysses. All right. Adlin Schilling for the right. We must never give up. The longest rope has an end. Robin Melbadonna says, Lofty, it has to be replayed on a loudspeaker, village to village. Yes, I concur with you as well. Ramona St. Rose says, Lofty, God I good. No, I guess it's God is good all the time. Just believe. I guess that's what you want to write. Ezra Samuel writes, our people are not ready for a new beginning. They are set in their way. Marshall asking a question, what about NJAM? Well, Marshall, what I can tell you, NJAM is a shell of a group. That's in short what I can tell you, all right? So, folks, I think that is it for me. That is it for us tonight in terms of company, in terms of information. I always also want to thank you each and every time for your time. I know you always take time off, at least 2 hours, that is. 2 hours is a lot of time. But for Nation's business, it goes by so quickly, all right? So thank you. Those of you who are going out tonight, again, be reminded that the place is still damp, it is still wet, and so you should be very, very careful. Please enjoy yourself nonetheless, and see you next week Saturday, same time, same place. All right, Dominicans, again, I'll give you the opportunity to punch a song at me, and I'll be taking any one of them, okay? I will not be taking the first, nor the last. I'll be taking any one of them, all right? So let's go as we about to bring down the curtains on things here. A song of your doing and a song of my choosing. Let's go. Sure. Computer telling me I have an incorrect pin. Yes, sir.